Good afternoon, Jets Nation. Welcome to the Jew Jets Show. And the Combine is sadly over. And while the main point of the Combine is for NFL draft prospects to show scouts what they can do, there's a lot of stuff that happens behind the scenes. And today we're going to be talking about all the behind the scenes stuff that has to relate to the New York Jets. But any hesitation, let's get it started. So first off, the New York Jets met with both Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams at the Combine. Couldn't find from any credible source that they met with Drake May, although they probably did, who knows. But the interesting thing is that not a whole lot of teams met with Jaden Williams and Caleb Williams at the Combine. I said Jaden Williams, Jaden Daniels, and Caleb Williams at the Combine. Single-digit teams met with both of them, and the Jets were one of the only teams to meet with both. So I do find it interesting that the Jets are meeting with the quarterbacks, the top quarterbacks in the draft, but they're more so probably just doing due diligence. I mean, I highly doubt we see the Jets draft one of them because it doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Probably just due diligence. Chris Jenkins, who's one of the best defensive tackles in this year's draft class and recently just won a national championship with Michigan, said that he would love to follow in his father's footsteps and play for the New York Jets. Now, of course, the Jets have a need at the defensive tackle position this offseason. Don't know if Chris Jenkins is going to be someone that is available when the New York Jets draft, because he's not going 10th overall, and I don't think he falls to the third round at 72. But if he does, or if the Jets manage to get a second-round pick somehow, definitely could be someone the New York Jets draft. Brock Bowers, who's one of the best players in this year's draft and a generational tight end prospect, said that it would be pretty sweet to join the New York Jets and that Aaron Rodgers is one of the best players of all time. It's great to see that Brock Bowers, who is someone the Jets very well could pick at 10, has a lot of good thoughts about the New York Jets. And while the Jets don't exactly need a tight end, Brock Bowers is such a good player, the Jets can find a role for him, as could any team in the NFL, because he's that good. He's that generational of a prospect. And pretty much all of the top offensive tackle prospects in this year's draft had nothing but great things to say about Aaron Rodgers. Starting off with Brock Bowers' teammate at Georgia, Adarius Mims. He said that Aaron Rodgers is a guy that he grew up watching, and he would love getting drafted by the New York Jets and protecting Aaron Rodgers. Joe Alt, who is the best tackle in this year's draft class, or arguably the best, in my opinion, he's the best, so that he met with the Jets earlier in the week, and blocking for Aaron Rodgers would truly be an honor. Ole Fashanu, who's considered to be the second best tackle in this year's draft class, said that he got great advice from the New York Jets whenever he met with them this week, and saying that Aaron Rodgers is a legend of the game, that the opportunity to block for him would be awesome. Tyron Fuega said that blocking for Aaron Rodgers is something that is speechless for him, and that's kind of a dream thing. I mean, he's dreamed about blocking for Aaron Rodgers, so the fact that he could potentially do it would just be insane for him. And that's just great to hear, because no one's dreaming about blocking for any other quarterback that the Jets have had in their history. Maybe Joe Namath. The fact that you have a Hall of Fame quarterback, Cameron Aaron Rodgers, says something. People want to play for you. And while, these draft prospects don't exactly pick where they want to go, this is definitely a thing that's going to help the New York Jets out in free agency. Players just want to play for elite talent. They want to play with an elite quarterback in Aaron Rodgers. And everything that's been said about him at the draft just proves that. And Tyron Fuega is probably the guy that we see the Jets draft at 10. I mean, I'm not locking it in, but there's a high chance he is. I mean, during the Senior Bowl, in which he dominated at, which so many reported that the New York Jets have had their eye on him for quite some time, and he's the guy that you see routinely mocked to the New York Jets at 10. So, the fact that he is dreaming for blocking for Aaron Rodgers is definitely a good thing to hear. And the last, draft, combine, thing we're going to talk about today is J.C. Latham, who is from Alabama. Again, one of the top offensive tackles in this year's draft, said that he had a good meeting with the New York Jets this week, and it would be a dream for him to block for Aaron Rodgers. Once again, another top offensive tackle prospect dreaming of blocking for Aaron Rodgers. He said he grew up in Wisconsin, and, watching Aaron Rodgers is just something that he also grew up on. So all the praise for Aaron Rodgers is stuff you love to see. But moving on to the free agent side of things, because there's a lot of free agent news that happens at the Combine, because it's a bunch of reporters and a bunch of general managers, a bunch of scouts, a bunch of coaches. People talk. Things get heard, things get said, and there's just a lot of buzz that gets happened to get out. First off, Mike Evans' agent said that he wants to play with an elite quarterback. He also wants to play in an offense that will showcase him while he gets paid like a top wide receiver. He doesn't want to play with a rookie quarterback, and a Super Bowl is his number one priority. Once again, people want to play with elite quarterback talent. That's Mike Evans' number one thing on his list this offseason. Get me to an elite quarterback and also get me the bag. That's what he told his agent. The New York Jets can give him both of those things. As can a lot of other teams in the NFL, but you got to think, the Jets actually have a legit chance at landing Mike Evans because they have Aaron Rodgers. I mean, 2 off seasons ago, you have Zach Wilson heading into your second season. Mike Evans is not sitting here saying, "Oh, I want to come to the New York Jets." They might offer me $25 million, but they won't offer me an elite quarterback. Now he can say, "Give me to the New York Jets." They have a 4-time MVP winner in Aaron Rodgers. That's just the type of effect he has on your team. And not just Aaron Rodgers, any elite quarterback. Tyron Smith, who is one of the best offensive tackles in the game, is likely to hit the open market and is unlikely to return at Dallas. Now, I don't necessarily know if Tyron Smith would be the best fit for the Jets just because he has a pretty extensive injury history, hasn't played a full season in almost a decade, has played 17 total games over the past 2 years. But because we have Aaron Rodgers, he hasn't won a Super Bowl, there's a good chance that he wants to block for a Hall of Fame quarterback like him. And that's another thing. 2 years ago, you probably are not going to land Tyron Smith. Even though you give him all the money, he's probably not going to come to the New York Jets 2 years ago. But now there's a good chance that the Jets actually land a top tackle in the game in Tyron Smith. Now, someone that has actual relations to the New York Jets now that we have Aaron Rodgers is A.J. Dillon, and that's someone that is reportedly not going to get re-signed by the Green Bay Packers. Now, we know the Jets signed a million Packer free agents last offseason, and it didn't work out for them, but A.J. Dillon is someone that I definitely think could work out for the Jets if they sign him. I mean, we do need a backup running back. He's someone that has been a backup running back for his entire career and has been pretty good at it. I mean, he's been one of the best backup running backs, and him and Aaron Jones have been arguably the best running back duo in the NFL over the past 4 seasons. So signing him definitely would be a pretty solid idea. And the last thing we're going to be talking about is the fact that the Jets are expected to be active in the guard market. Jonah Jackson, Robert Hunt, Michael Onwenu, Kevin Dotson are going to be the top options in this year's guard class, and they also are the guys that are expected to get the most money. Jeremy Fowler saying that they could all potentially get $16 million a season, which would completely reset the guard market. Now, I do think it's interesting that the Jets are going to be active in the guard market because there's just a lot they could do with this offensive line. A lot of rumors we were hearing were saying that the Jets were going to keep Elijah Vera Tucker and Joe Tippmann as our guards, sign a center, and then also, fill out our tackle needs however. But now that we're expected to be active in the guard market, does that mean we're going to boot AVT out the tackle, draft one, and then keep Joe Tippmann at center and sign 2 guards? Or are we just going to be going after one of the top guards in the NFL? And that's how I think happens. The Jets are just entering free agency with one of their main goals, giving the bag to a top guard. But also, they did that 2 off seasons ago, and it didn't really work out for them. So I don't necessarily know what this whole means for the Jets being expected to be active in the guard market, but just expect the New York Jets to give money to a guard. That's the bottom line. But, ladies and gentlemen, this is all the behind-the-scenes stuff that happened at the Combine that I broke down. This video is probably really long, but if you made it to the end, thank you for sticking around. I definitely appreciate it. But ladies and gentlemen, let me know your thoughts down below. And I'm going to start signing off for now. See you guys later. Peace.